All right. Well, hi, hello, and welcome to From Paper to Portal, improve tax collection and provide a better filing experience. Now, today's exciting webinar is sponsored by GovOS and produced by SmartBrief. My name is Jess Steinbach. I'm with SmartBrief, and I'm so happy that I get to be your moderator for this conversation today because tax collection and compliance are absolutely essential to your internal processes and important initiatives in your organization. But these processes are not always easy or smooth, are they? And inefficiencies can lead to overtaxing, no pun intended, our teams, our resources, burnout, and an increased likelihood of missteps. So reducing the complexities is not just a nice to have anymore, right? It's absolutely vital to improving the experience of your team and meeting the operational goals of your organization. And today, we have some incredible experts here with us who are going to walk us through some of the latest trends and what we can learn from them. That's the important thing, right? Not just what's happening, but what we can take away from that. We're going to explore the true cost of a paper-based process and outline actionable strategies and next steps that you can take to improve your business licensing and tax processes. That is a lot of good insight coming our way, and I want to get our expert presenters on out here with us as quickly as we can so that we can get this rolling. So I am going to zip through just a few housekeeping points to help you get the most out of our time here together, and then we'll get this show on the road. All right, let's start out with a little guided tour of your audience console. That's always a nice place to start. Get to know the home that we're hanging out in for the next little bit. Now let's start out with your questions window. Now this is the absolute best place to get involved, to get interactive, to post all of those insightful questions, wonderings, musings, whatever you have going around in your head. We want to hear from you. And our incredible speakers are going to be watching those comments as they come in. They're going to adjust in real time and make sure that we're hitting you with the information that is important to you. So make sure you're using that questions window. In fact, we can do that right now. We're going to give it a little test run. I see a hello from Jorge, from Ben, from Zhang. We've got some wonderful folks joining us. Hey, Seema, Richard, Vrej. Hey, we got the whole crew. Keep those highs and hellos coming. I want to hear from you as we go through our day today. And definitely make sure that you're getting those questions in. Now, a quick side note that window is also the best place to reach out and let us know if you do have any technical issues. I hope that doesn't come up for us. Obviously, we're trying to avoid all of the tech gremlins, but if one of them has gotten into your system, here's your first step. Try a browser refresh. Give that a kickstart. And if the browser refresh doesn't work for you, you can post a message in that questions window. Let us know, and our team will be there to help you out. All right, the last thing I want to point out as we go through our audience console here, we've spent some time in the questions window, we've set our highs and hellos and gotten to know our community. Now we're going to take one jump over to the handouts tab. There are some very cool resources and follow-ups to our conversation there today. So make sure you spend some time in that handouts tab, download that, save that for later, hang on to that because you will want to learn a little bit more after we wrap. I promise you there is so much more to explore. So make sure you've got that handouts tab ready to go there. Now, the very last thing that I will tell you about is a $250 Amazon gift card that we will be giving away as a prize drawing at the end of our webinar. Now, of course, you do need to be here in live attendance in order to qualify to win that prize, and all winners must meet the SmartBrief prize terms and conditions. If you are not sure what those T's and C's are, no problem. I do not expect you to have those memorized. That handy-dandy handouts tab that we were just talking about has all the info you need. So head on back over to the handouts tab, click in, scroll down, and you will find the full T's and C's waiting for you there. All right, well, with that, I think it's about time that we jump into our session. That's enough with the general info, and let's get into the good stuff. Today, we will be chatting with the wonderful dynamic duo here with us, the Matt Squad, Matt Polovich, Tax Solutions Lead, and Matt Eckstein, Solutions Consultant. All right, Matt and Matt, the dynamic duo here. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, we're very excited to be here and talk about really fun tax collection stuff.
Really fun tax collection stuff. That's the bar. I like that. You guys are going to make tax collection fun today.
Well, we're going to try to at least. We'll see how we do.
I believe in you. I'm very excited about this conversation. I think we got a lot of good stuff to get into. And in fact, we're going to start out with a little bit of a question for the audience. We're going to start out with all of you wonderful folks out there, because this is why what we're here for, right? Is to hear from these wonderful humans and maybe help them out a little bit with what's going on in their lives. And Matt P., I'm going to start with you because I know that you've been doing a lot of kind of traveling around. You've been connecting a lot with local, state, and finance directors and administrators about some of the most pressing challenges that they're facing. And I think this is a really interesting place to start. I'm guessing that a lot of what you're seeing in terms of those pain points are going to be things that are shared by our audience today. So could you give us a little sense of what you're hearing and what you're expecting to hear from the audience?
Yeah, so over the past 2 years or so, I've spoken with hundreds of state and local finance directors, tax administrators all across the country, and some of the common threads that we've heard through those conversations are, we're struggling with really outdated manual processes, often that requires a lot of paper-based forms and tax collection. Also, that amount of time that they're spending utilizing the paper or spent on these out of date, inefficient processes means that they're not able to get a bunch of other things, more impactful things done, specifically audits, enforcement, things of that nature. We hear that people really struggle with getting really good data to make better decisions for how they're going to deploy the tax dollars that they've been collecting from businesses. And ultimately, I think it all kind of boils down to, I don't think we're using the right tool to do this. And so, as I look over the results here, I see a lot of the same trends that we've been hearing from folks all across the country. I see almost 30% of people are saying that there's too much manual work. Folks are having trouble ensuring that people are staying compliant on licensing and tax payments. There's a bunch of people here that are indicating that there's manual processes that take away from strategic work. So, pretty much par for the course from what we're hearing across the country.
That's really interesting. And I'm really excited to kind of dig into this, especially because some of the things that we were hearing there, not having the right data and not having the right tools, and I think those two really being interconnected, they're really a foundation for that manual process, for that overtaxing. And one of the key things that you said there that I'm really interested in kind of hearing you unpack as we go is the sort of farther reaching ramifications of that, right? If you've got people spending a lot of time doing the things that they don't need to be spending time on, then they're not spending time on things that are expanding your business, on things that are helping you, maintain really important levels of compliance, but then also maybe get out in front of things. You're taking away that proactivity.
Yeah, absolutely. And, it's one thing that we've seen, not just on the tax administrator side, hey, because I'm having to spend all my time chasing down people over a $25 penalty, I don't have the time to run an audit to identify tax revenues that maybe we haven't been collecting, or I don't have time to dig through and find trend data and do analysis of what's going on. But also, this is a struggle for businesses as well. And so that's why today what we're going to focus on is, first, we're going to talk about, hey, what's the value that we can provide to our businesses to ensure that they do use an online solution so that we can reap the benefits of having our licensing and tax collection done online, so that we can work more on those high impact revenue generating activities. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. In today's presentation, basically we're going to cover these three topics. First, we're going to talk about online business licensing and tax collection and how you can implement some best practices to encourage adoption of an online portal. Then I'm going to hand over the keys to Matt Eckstein. He is our solutions consultant, and we're going to go on a software walkthrough to highlight some of the key features that business owners and tax administrators need to improve compliance and ultimately collect more revenue. And then finally, we'll share some industry trends on the challenges that tax administrators face and how those challenges can be addressed with technology. So that's what we're going to talk about today, Jess. Very excited to get started.
That is a lot of great stuff. I am going to step back. I have to tell you that there's a Matt in the audience who said, "Hi, Matts." So we've got a whole Matt crew with us. Well, we're in good Matt hands. I'm going to step back and hand things over to you. Take it away.
Yeah, you're not going to believe it, but one of our sales leaders is named Matt, and our CEO is named Matt. So when we all get on the call, it is absolute chaos. But for today, if you have any questions, you can refer to me as Polo, if that makes it a little bit easier for you. I'll just start by saying hello, everybody. Thank you so much for having us. My name is Matt. I've been working with state and local governments for over a decade now. And over the past couple of years, I've been focused primarily on working with state and local tax collectors. And so a lot of the stuff that you guys are going to see today is based on conversations that I've had with those folks all across the country. We're going to get started with best practices on driving adoption and use of a digital filing portal. And basically where this starts is the pandemic really turned tax collection on its head for a lot of local jurisdictions. Previously, tax collection was done primarily on paper and required staff in office to file returns and collect payments. However, since 2020, local governments are aware that they need to be able to solve compliance challenges with technology. The fact is, you just can't rely on people being in the office any longer to do the work. Additionally, the time and the energy that it takes to process paper means that they're not able to focus on those more impactful activities. Today, business owners are more and more expecting to be able to engage with tax collectors online, and most businesses are probably paying all of their other bills online already. And many businesses are just online entirely. For example, GovOS, we're a remote first company, meaning that I literally never go into the office because I'm based in Atlanta and it's a very long commute to Austin, Texas. So that just means that more and more businesses are expecting, and in some cases demanding, that governments make things a little bit easier for them. But in reality, it's a challenge for everybody. In 2023, we surveyed local business owners and we asked them to rate their experience with tax and licensing at the local level. 70% of them said that they could not file a business license application online. And 70% also stated that they had to manually calculate the taxes that they owe, including penalties and interest. And another 70% said that even those that did have online tax portals still needed to improve their processes. Now, this survey feedback highlights what we're saying about how businesses feel about tax collection and licensing processes. They're unhappy. They want more. And in the conversations that we've had with tax collectors, we've identified a handful of concerns that they have that's kind of created some hesitancy to invest in an online portal. Many people that I talked to indicated that business owners in their area are older and still like to use paper. But in reality, the average age of business owners, according to the US Census, is about 50 years old. And more than 3/4 of new business owners are actually under the age of 54. In fact, the average age of a new business owner is just 34. So over time, business owners are getting younger and younger. Someone who's 34 had a cell phone in high school, they joined Facebook in their teens, and they've lived a majority of their lives connected and online. So they expect to be able to run their business with online tools as well. Some other things that we hear from folks are, hey, you know what? The majority of our taxpayers live in a rural area and they might not have the internet. But in reality, high-speed internet usage in rural areas is up 10% in the past 5 years. And more than 3/4 of rural Americans have broadband at home. For those that don't, 90% of adults across the country have a smartphone. So as connectivity, even in rural areas, increases, once again, the expectation from businesses moves towards online tools. But the biggest challenge that I hear is, I'm not sure that my businesses are going to use it. And that's what we're going to focus on for the first part of today's presentation. Did you know that 91% of all individual taxes are filed online, which means that chances are your business owners are already filing their taxes online? So the question's not, are they going to use it? The question is, how can we encourage them to use it? So next, we'll share with you some steps that you can take to encourage businesses to use the system. But first, I'd love to highlight a customer success story. So let's take a look at Fort Collins, Colorado. Really quickly, City of Fort Collins faced 3 key challenges when they came to GovOS. Number one, they had a bunch of different license types, license fees, and tax payments that they had to manage with an old and outdated process. They had a compliance burden because they just didn't know what the city was missing from revenue that was not getting collected. And finally, licensees and filers needed a ton of support in order just to stay in compliance with their current processes. Now, these are pretty typical challenges, especially amongst jurisdictions that are relying on paper processes or don't have the correct tools in place to encourage online adoption. However, since implementing our solution and leveraging some industry best practices, Fort Collins saw a dramatic improvement. By deploying a tax solution that helped manage the full workflow from licensing all the way through tax payments on a single portal, the city was able to offer better automated renewals and payment workflows for those business licensees. And they were able to get 97% of their businesses registered through the online portal, which ensured compliance for over 13,000 licensees and enabled the city to more easily process $155 million in payments. So before we dive in, throughout the presentation, we're going to focus on stories that we've heard from customers about how they've gotten their businesses to leverage their portals online. But with so many industry leaders here on the call, I'd love to get some additional feedback. So please take a moment as we go through this to share any insights or any methods that your jurisdiction may have developed to encourage online adoption of a portal. And at the end, we'll make sure to go through and share these tips with everybody so that we can all effectively utilize our time today. So question number one, how do we encourage business owners to use an online solution for tax collection? First, we're going to show you the features that you need to look for that will enable businesses to be successful. Then we'll go through a list of jurisdiction-driven tasks that have a proven success rate so that you can improve your numbers of engagement. And finally, we'll share some success stories of customers that have utilized our platform, and we'll share the results that they've seen. So before we go to implement an online tax collection solution, what are some of the key features that we need to look for to ensure that businesses are going to utilize the platform? Number one, you just need to go beyond just filing and payments. You want to find a solution that not only makes your life easier, but make sure that you can focus on the value to business owners as well. You want to give businesses a one-stop shop that gives them 24/7 access to the tools that they need to stay in compliance. You want to find a solution that's web-based and mobile responsive, because we know that even in those rural areas, 90% of adults have a smartphone and would be able to access the solution through the phone. So make sure that it's an easy to use interface that they can get in, they can do their work, and they can go about their day. Filing and payments need to be done easily with things like auto calculation to ensure that they're paying the correct amount. They need to be able to get tasks assigned to them and alerts to let them know that they've got upcoming forms due or license renewals. And so you want to continue that conversation with them by enabling those tasks and alerts. You need to give them options for payments as well, including credit card, ACH, bank transfers, and you need to enable them to track their balances and leverage overpayment balances through the solution as well. Additionally, we want to ensure that they get more from the solution than just the ability to calculate fees. We want them to get the tools that they need to make their lives easier. Businesses should be able to update account information without having to file a piece of paper in the mail or go make a phone call. And moving simple tasks like this online makes life easier for business owners, and it reduces that workload on your staff. You want them to be able to view account balances. You want them to be able to view and print their licenses. You want them to be able to see their tax filing history. For businesses that aren't using online solutions, answers to these simple questions often means a request through the mail, a phone call, or they got to get a stamp and an envelope involved. And for those business owners that manage multiple businesses, you need to give them permissioned access so they can enable their staff to log in and manage their account, file their taxes, or pull down their tax history. Now, some of your filers might be CPA firms, and they might need to manage taxes for 10 or 15 businesses. And if you're operating short-term rentals, you might have a property management company that has to file lodging tax for 100 different properties. So you want to be able to give them the ability to file in bulk. Bulk filing saves them time, and it's something they can only do through an online solution. And it's a great way to just get a large number of filings directed through the system all at once. Most importantly, it gives them the ability to manage those multiple businesses without having to switch logins, which can be time consuming and confusing. So these are all the features that you want to look for when you guys are thinking about implementing an online solution. So now that we've discussed the features that will make businesses successful, let's talk about what you can do to encourage businesses to use an online portal. Now, the first challenge that we need to overcome is, how do I get businesses logged in and using the portal for the very first time? And the answer is to make it as easy as possible. Now, we do this with an initial launch notification that is sent to business owners to alert them of the new portal. And with our notification tool, you can customize and personalize those letters so they automatically include the business owner's name, address, or any other relevant information. Because studies have actually shown that personalized messages lead to higher engagement over generic messaging. Businesses will then just use their account number and that personalized activation code to instantly gain access to the platform. Now, that initial launch is critical to get business owners to start using the online solution. However, we have to remember that a single launch campaign is just not enough. In fact, let's not even call it a launch anymore, because what we really want is a perpetual campaign to drive adoption of that online solution. Relying on a single piece of mail to gain platform adoption is just not going to cut it. So you need to continually reach out to business owners and let them know about the program. You want to make a plan to engage businesses throughout the year, especially as filing deadlines approach, and you want to hit them when they are most likely to take action to improve the likelihood that they're going to sign up. Another way that we can encourage the use of a solution is to incentivize business owners to use it. Some jurisdictions that we work with have come up with creative incentives for businesses that opt to use an online solution, like extending deadlines for online filers or covering the cost of transaction fees. And here's an interesting statistic. Did you know that current marketing best practices indicate that it takes at least 8 touch points to convert or to get a target to take action? And this is another reason why we need to create an engagement plan, because we can't rely on only the mail to reach our minimum number of touch points. To effectively squeeze all that juice out of our campaign, we need to create our marketing mix. Now, in marketing terms, the marketing mix is all the different avenues of communication that we can use to reach our targets. In this case, the business owners. We want to create a variety of touch points to ensure that we're able to reach businesses in whatever their preferred channel of communication is. So what have some of our customers done to engage with their business owners? We've seen customers have some success using a combination of the following methods. Number one, they launch the portal with a press release and partner with local newspapers and radio stations to announce or reintroduce the online filing process. Many jurisdictions have leveraged social media posts and campaigns to explain the new method, and they've used hashtags that are relevant to local businesses. Some customers have hosted webinars just like this, or town halls with live Q&A sessions to explain that new method and answer any questions that they might get from business owners. And believe it or not, flyers and posters are still incredibly effective, especially in high traffic areas such as government offices or community centers, libraries, or local or regional business meetups. You want to identify a couple of these options to create your marketing mix that will have the biggest impact on your business community. And don't be afraid to test things out. Now, while the how of your communication is important, that's the method that you use to reach business owners, you also need to focus on the what you're going to say to them. Here, it's important to focus not just on what the system does, but what the value is to them. Simply saying, hey, you can file and pay your taxes online is not going to get businesses really excited to use the system. You want to focus on the benefits that businesses will receive from the platform. Like, hey, the new online tax and licensing system gives you 24/7 access so you can easily file taxes or renew licenses online. Additionally, business owners get to access account information like account balances. They can view their tax history. They can even file in bulk if they manage multiple businesses. All these tools will save you money and lower your cost of compliance. Now, if I'm a business owner and I hear that, it sounds a lot more valuable than just, hey, you can pay online, right? And so now I'm much more likely to try it out. Next, you want to insert business engagement into your daily tax and compliance processes. Every time you encounter a business that doesn't file online, that's an opportunity to sign them up. Remember, every business that uses the online portal is less time doing manual data entry, less time fixing errors on returns, less time chasing down people over checks that come in without penalties and interest. So how do we incorporate business engagement into our existing processes? Number one, whenever someone calls, ask them if they know about the online filing portal. You can even write a script for yourself to make sure that you're clearly communicating the value and telling them exactly how they can sign up. Once again, we want to make sure to focus on the benefits to them so that they know what the value is for them. Chances are the question they called about could have easily been answered through the online portal. You can create a kiosk for people that come in to pay in person. One of our customers just set up a laptop at their window. And whenever someone comes into the office, the first thing they ask them to do is to log into the system. Getting people to register is the hardest part. But once you get them in there for the first time and they see that they didn't have to leave the office to make a simple payment, they're more likely to file online the next time. Additionally, getting them to sign up captures their verified email address, meaning that now you can send them alerts and notifications through the system, even if they continue to come and pay in person or by mail. Finally, when you have people on site at businesses, make sure that they're telling the business owners about the online filing solution as well. There's a bunch of in-person interactions that city employees have with businesses, from inspections to audits. So create a one-pager that you can drop with a business owner when you're on site, and they can then you can take the time to tell them about the portal while they're a captive audience. Finally, we want to engage with the business community as well. There's plenty of organizations that are constantly looking for topics to discuss with their members. So engaging with these organizations is a great way to show off the portal to a large audience of business owners. You can try reaching out to local chambers of commerce or business associations that have members in your jurisdiction. Local CPA firms would also benefit from tools like this because they manage multiple businesses through a single login, and they can bulk file on behalf of those business clients. Once again, you just want to maximize your reach so that you're operating, so all those businesses that are operating in your area have no excuse. So by following these best practices, we've seen some tremendous adoption from business owners all across the country. For example, one of our customers, the Alaska Municipal League, hosts our online sales tax portal for businesses to file in their local jurisdictions. And after an engagement campaign supported by the association, 80% of all the sales tax revenue in Alaska is filed through our online portal. And at the local level, the staff at Okaloosa County, Florida, focused on encouraging businesses to file online instead of through the mail. And by reaching out to businesses and explaining the value of the online solution, as well as de-incentivizing mail-in returns, they've been able to get up to 99% of their monthly tourist development tax filings done online, which has dramatically reduced the paperwork burden on their staff. So in conclusion, to improve online adoption and of the tax and licensing, you need to improve your engagement with business owners. When communicating with business owners about the solution, you want to focus on the value that it's going to bring to them by highlighting the features that go beyond just filing and payments. And a single point of contact is not enough. So you want to create an engagement campaign that uses multiple channels to continuously encourage online adoption. And finally, insert engagement into your processes to ensure that every touch point that you have improves your engagement with online business owners. So we're going to transition here at this point. I'm going to hand the keys over to Matt, and Matt is going to show us an example of some of these tools that are available out in the market today. And we'll show you how business owners can leverage these tools to do their daily tasks, and how the back-end tax administrator staff can leverage online tools to make things a little bit more efficient for them as well. So Matt, why don't you take it away, man?
Hey, Matt, before I jump into the solution, we did have a quick question a little bit about security. What government regulations are in place for security, because we are housing, taxpayer information and data in the system. Before I jump in, do you want to add a little color to that?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the nice things about a cloud-based solution is that you get the benefit of leveraging the highest standard of security that is set out by some of the largest cloud-based organizations out there, like Amazon, like Microsoft. And so I would encourage you, as you look for these solutions, to validate that they are hosted in a trusted environment and that they have some of the key security features like multi-factor authentication, SOC 2 certification, and things of that nature to ensure that your data is going to be secure in the cloud, especially with all the data breaches and ransomware attacks that are going around for local governments. Having that top-notch security is going to be vital, especially as we're dealing with sensitive taxpayer information.
Great. Thanks, Matt. As we pivot over to the presentation, we'll say hello to everyone. My name is Matt Eckstein. I am a solution consultant here at GovOS. I've been with the company a few years, have a lot of experience working with software, cloud-based software technologies for local government. Really excited about this presentation today. What we're going to do is I really like to focus on a couple different personas, right? And Matt's kind of alluded to some of those personas in his talk track today. One really being the business owner experience. So we're going to start there, right? I'm going to put on my business owner hat. Quick tech check for my counterpart, Matt. Can you see my screen okay there, sir?
Absolutely.
Awesome. So what we're looking at here is 24/7 access, right? This is one of the key features that Matt really talks about in providing that access and level to your business owners. Cloud-based, meaning wherever I have an internet connection, I can get online and do my business. This particular experience offers the business owner a couple different areas where they can get information and complete tasks. Okay. We really want to focus on providing an area for information. Okay. That can be presented here in a notification section, right? What is the purpose of this portal? Okay. What can I do? Are there going to be links to frequently asked questions? Do I have any alerts or tasks that I need to complete as part of a business owner? We want to provide a presence for our business owners to not have to search for that information. It's going to be right there in front of them so they don't have to look far. Because what we know is once folks get online, they get frustrated, then they don't want to do it again. They'll start to go back to that paper-driven processes. As a business owner, right, when I access my online account, I also want to be able to have just one single login and access all of my business accounts. This account management section that you'll see in the lower right-hand portion of the software allows me to build in my full, complete business profiles into the system. I got a couple businesses here. I got a couple short-term rentals. I also have my my wholesale roasters, my coffee roasters company, and then because I was doing such a great job with that, I decided to open up my own mystery coffee shop. Okay. I'm able to log those into my business portal and complete all of the tasks, the outstanding tasks that are associated with those businesses. How do I know what needs to be done, right? We want technology to provide a map, right? A guide, a set of tasks that we call kind of workflow in the system to guide those folks on what they have outstanding and what they need to do next. And that's that task dashboard that we see on the left-hand side. For each one of my business profiles, we'll see some tasks that are going to be clickable that they can go ahead and dive in and take a closer look. Whether it's somebody that needs to pay a license fee, okay, or complete a business application or renewal, or complete a tax form. All of those tasks will be presented to the business owner in this simple, easy interface on the left-hand side here. Now, once we have that information, I do want to go ahead and show you a little bit more features before I dig into some of these tasks that you see on the left-hand side. Specifically, we do want to look at a tax form because we are talking about tax collection today. Messages and alerts, right? Quick access to look into those messages, and I can see that I have a couple licenses that are approved. We want the business owner to feel comfortable in this space, right? And have access to these different messages and alerts directly from the interface. And also allowing them to print and download copies quickly and easily from this portal is another great feature. Remember, when we can provide them these tools at their fingertips in a simple, easy-to-use interface, that's going to be less phone calls that come in to you and your staff, right, to stop what you're doing. Take some time to focus on that business owner and make sure they get the right information that they're looking for. When I scroll down here towards the bottom, there's an activity feed, okay? A couple areas that are really going to help your businesses out here is, again, access to past information or historical information. Oh, I forgot what the business requirements are for my renewal. Well, no big deal. I can go to my informational activity and read back on requirements that were provided through those task-driven workflows for these businesses, okay? I can even take a look at my business license application that I submitted for my coffee shop or my wholesale roasters business. Ease and access to that information is going to be available through the system. If I want to look at that application, I can simply click view and it will go ahead and pop up and open up that application within the system. Other transactional information that you can have access to is historical. Okay, what was that sales and use tax form that I had submitted from my bed and breakfast? I can quickly open that previous tax form up, see the gross sales and service that I had submitted there. If I had any deductions that were included in here. Also, was I late in this particular month's remittance or quarterly remittance? And you'll notice that penalties and interest is also recorded in line items here as well, and the total tax due that I had paid during that time period. Now, submitting taxes, we want that to be a simple process as well, okay? What you want to focus on when you look to improve this experience for your business owner is also automating these tasks, okay? Matt talked about his 8 touches, right? And being able to get in front of these folks more frequently. So what you want is a system that can provide, scheduled tasks for folks to remit those online payments, and also set up some reminders so that, Matt, the business owner, right? He's going to be reminded that it's time for him to remit those taxes and pay those fees to the municipality. Let's take a look at one of those tax forms to see what they look like. So I have one here for Mr. E's wholesale roasters. We'll go ahead and open that up. We've got some interaction today. So we'll go ahead and type in the $25,000 in gross sales and service. I will know, obviously up here towards the top, that yes, I am late in submitting that. And because I am late in submitting and recording my tax, I will have to pay penalties and interest. Okay. No more questions, right? What do I need to calculate for my penalties and interest when I need to pay my fee? No more back and forth, right? We hear this all the time when Matt and I talk with different agencies is, yes, I get a paper form for remittance of gross receipts, but then I have to circle back with them and automatically calculate penalties and interest, almost doing double the work. So what you want to be able to do is provide a simple solution, right, that will allow folks to get those tasks completed in one screen. After recording, right, your gross receipts, including any deductions, the total tax that's due is going to be available here. We can go ahead and receive an electronic signature as part of this process, and those folks will be able to pay those fees and those taxes online. Couple more features before we dive into the administrative function is being able to manage my business accounts over here towards the right. Each one of these accounts, I'll be able to dive in there and look at the profile for my business, right? All of these fields of information that I would have included in my business registration application are now part of the system of record, right? This online system of record. In addition to that, we've also heard that sometimes you spend a little bit more time in your day dealing with account changes and updates to a particular business profile. Am I transferring ownership of my business from Matt E to Matt P? Am I operating under a new address? Do I have a different phone number? Do I have a different contact person that I've included as part of my business? Any of those processes can be built and configured into your business profile, which could kick off a workflow within the system for an account information update. In this case, the business owner will go ahead and file their change of name and address, and this will become a task that's available for the administrators of the system, staff like yourselves, to review the changes to the account and approve them into the system. This doesn't happen automatically, right? These things, some of them will need to have some touches, right, by the staff and the administrators that work there locally. But providing a way for businesses to do this online and for you to receive those notifications and complete those tasks without having to pick up the phone, update 2 or 3 different systems, the business owner will have that information here at their fingertips. Finally, when we do look at business profiles within the system, and you'll be able to see for all of my business accounts, I'm currently the owner, but we do offer role-based permissions on these business accounts. How many times do we have business owners that are leveraging an accountant, right, or a business manager to make sure that fees are paid, that renewals take place, right? That taxes are paid, okay? So me as a property owner, I would hire another individual, allow and grant them access to this online account, and they can manage my business for me, okay? With these role-based permissions, an accountant is going to have less access than the business owner or the property owner in this case, okay? And if you do need to change, right, your accountants, meaning somebody's not submitting those taxes on time and you're incurring some late fees and penalties and interest, you want to hire somebody new, you can quickly have the ability, your business owners can have the ability to remove those individuals and add somebody new to take their place. Let's pop back over here to the business center. What we're going to do next is we are going to pivot into an administrator role. Okay, so I'm going to take off my business owner cap and I'm going to put on my staff cap. And we're going to dive into the system here through an administration portion that you'll see in the upper right-hand portion. Now, I always like to take a bit of a step back here as we look at a screen like this. We heard Jess do that when she kicked off our presentation today with our webinar. I like to do the same in my demonstrations, right? When your staff have access here, there's a navigation menu on the left-hand side where you'll have different modules that you can engage and look at information about the business, notifications, approvals, different reporting features are in here. Audits is all going to be available for your staff within the system. Depending upon the services that you get with us, you may or may not have all of these. And we certainly don't have enough time to cover all of these modules with you today. If there's interest in that, you can certainly reach out to us. Quick access to dashboard information. What's paid, what's pending during this time period. Give me some monthly totals year over year. And also the ability to track delinquents accounts within the system is another feature that you'll have. Delinquency is generally tracked in a couple different areas, right? I haven't paid on time, I don't have a license, I have not completed my tasks. So by having a system that is going to track all of that activity on a per business account and provide you ease and access to lists that you can report on those, will certainly allow your team to focus on those businesses that you need to reach out to and you need to engage with, as opposed to all the other ones that are following the rules and toting that line. From an account profile perspective, let's dig into one of these accounts. On the left-hand side, we'll go ahead and pull up an account. I do have my Mr. E's Wholesale Roasters business profile here, and we'll go ahead and click it to open that. Again, everything for one business, all in one space, okay? Your business profile is going to have different tabs of information across the top. Your details is going to give you everything that you need to know about that business profile. Matt and I hear time and time again that these business applications come in through manual-based processes, paper processes. When this application is submitted online, all of the information that they've submitted on their application is already available under the business and account profile. So there's no need to adjust information unless you need to. Each profile is going to contain custom fields that you will be able to help design as part of that onboarding process. These custom fields are critical to having success in reporting metrics. You want to make sure that you're looking at different information such as business area or different business types or various codes that are relevant in your jurisdiction. When we build out the solid foundation for a business profile that has all those pieces, it's really going to help you when you're trying to report and strategize on, where you're going to put those tax dollars to work. Let's be honest. Are you seeing growth in a specific area? Are you seeing growth in a specific type of business? These fields in here are going to be critical when you're doing some reporting. License activity, account balances, all of that information, the ability to store documents, notes, to review notifications that have been sent out to these business owners, trigger and kick off audits on a business profile. you'll want a modern solution that's going to allow you to take care of all of those things in one space. Let's take a look at the notification section. Notification templates are another area where we find that time is being spent at local municipalities, right? Creating notifications, having the ability to batch and bulk send out notifications to businesses. Why not have the ability to set up notification templates within the system? Each template is going to have its own unique naming convention and merged fields that will allow you to standardize one letter and have that be able to be used across multiple business types. Failure to file notice. Let's take a look at that. When we look at this notification section, you'll be able to see these merge tags that will automatically allow us to pull in information from that business account. Any additional fields that you'd like to merge into the system will be available here as well. And then all of the content, right? That helpful information that you need to send out to your taxpayer, your business owner, is all available here and easy for you to adjust and modify too. You won't need to contact a support, a support system for it to take a couple weeks for you to get a change made to these letters. So those are some other things that you want to be looking for is autonomy in the system, the ability to configure and make some changes on the fly.
Hey, Matt, so notifications are not just paper mailing notifications, right? Like these notifications can be sent via email as well, right?
Yes. And they can even be triggered through a set of workflow tasks as well, Matt. So for example, if you're a business owner, absolutely, we understand that paper notifications, they're not going anywhere. We'll always need to have scenarios where we need to send paper notifications. And that's why our system allows an easy generation of a PDF that could be sent to a printer that you may have there locally, right? Or a printing company, right? That you have somewhere within the town. But we really want to reach out to business owners electronically as well. We look at the research that we've done, Matt, and most business owners are between the age of 34, average 34, right? 50 years old, 54 years old. My father is 75 and he's glued to his phone and his email. So having the ability to get these notifications here through the system is another key benefit of what we would want to have as a best practice in a tax solution.
Awesome. And Matt, in the last maybe 2 minutes, can we just real quick talk about reporting? Because I know that that's one thing that people are really struggling with today.
Yeah. Thanks for that, Matt. So the next thing, reporting, right, is a strong foundation of an understanding of what goes into reporting for licenses and tax. We're in a unique situation where one of our leaders was a former finance director. So we have the ability to have 16 out of the box reports in the system, whether it has to do with reconciliation, right, or producers in different business areas, an inventory detail of what's going on, summaries. You'll have the ability to search, right, filter that business information directly from our solution. Let's take a quick look at our license inventory detail. The focus here, right, is the information that goes in, the data that we collect as part of this process is really critical, right, to outputs. And what do we know about outputs? Outputs are going to help us make those data-driven decisions, okay? The ability for you to come into the system without having to manipulate a spreadsheet, choose to take a look at businesses that have expired during a certain period of time, okay, or that were issued during a certain time, and tap into different business areas or business types or license types or different statuses and have an output that you can quickly get through the system without having to dig too deep and make too much modification to that data is something that you're going to want to look for in partnering with a vendor and getting a solution such as this one. Another report I want to talk about too is a business report by summary. Okay, when we are collecting tax information, whether it's sales tax or alcohol and beverage tax or tax or lodging tax, okay, even different licensing fees, we have the ability to separate those out as different SKUs, right, within the system that would generally match your general ledger. And then being able to carve out by that business area or by that business type or any of those field parameters that you've included on the account profile and track revenue year over year. How well are we doing this year? How well are we doing compared to last year? And get some percentages. This data collection here is going to help you folks, right, make those data-driven decisions on business area, business types, all that geographical or demographical information. This is where you're going to go ahead and get those outputs from the system.
This is really great, Matt. And I think this is one area that people typically struggle with is building this kind of data, providing that kind of data to their executive decision makers. And I love that you took the time to show us all this really cool stuff inside the solution. This is the kind of output that you can get when you're able to save yourself all that time and get people utilizing an online portal. And so thanks, Matt, for taking the time to walk us through that. I've just got a couple of slides that we're going to share real quick to get us here to the end. And, basically what I'm going to talk about is, hey, this is a really cool concept of having folks file and pay for their stuff online. But, why should I invest in something like that? And how can I generate a return on an investment like this? And so, at the beginning, we shared a poll, and that poll really mirrored a lot of the conversations that I've been having with people all across the country. And of all the challenges that I heard about, the biggest number one issue for taxpayers was inefficient paper processing. That is, Steph, there we go, inefficient paper processing. I've visited y'all's offices, and I've seen the rows of filing cabinets and the giant stacks of paper. It's not just the space that the paper takes up, though. Paper filing is difficult for you to process, and it's difficult for your business owners to manage as well. Some common issues that we saw were math errors, missing data, businesses paying outdated rates, but the biggest challenge was that time. Paper processing takes a toll on your staff. It eats up hours each day. And look, I know how hard everybody's working on this. I've seen it, the long days, the late hours, overtime. And that one time a year when all of our monthlies and quarterlies and annuals all come in at the same time, it's a nightmare. They call it doomsday. Now, based on the data that I've collected, on average, jurisdictions are spending about 77 hours of employee time each month on outdated processes. And once that doomsday comes every year, and all those different tax filings are all due at the same time, that number can nearly double, which means that over the course of the year, on average, your offices are spending about 1,000 hours just dealing with paper and inefficient processes. But the question is, what is the impact of those lost hours? Well, it's an opportunity cost. It's all that stuff that's not getting done because you just simply don't have enough time in the day. Here I saw two categories. It's all that stuff that's not getting done, and it's all that stuff that we don't know. What's not getting done? Well, we're not collecting the data that we need to properly enforce the tax, like W-2s if it's a payroll tax. We aren't sending out notifications to help reduce the amount of enforcement that needs to be done. We're not able to audit accounts or even collect penalties. Something's better than nothing. And then there's all that stuff that we don't know. We don't know if we're getting paid the correct amount from everybody. We don't know what our rate of compliance is. And the biggest red flag that I saw, we don't know how much money is being left on the table because we don't have the time or the proper tools to determine that information. Now, many folks that I talked to shared that this was their number one challenge, that lack of time for enforcement. Others mentioned inefficient processes related to paper or outdated technology as their biggest challenges. And on the next couple slides, we're going to show you what everybody said about those challenges. So let's get through these pretty quickly. Number one, lack of time for enforcement came down to three main takeaways. The lack of time impacts basic activities, like ensuring that people are paying in full, and it's just not worth the time and energy to go collect a penalty or chase down a business over $50. Higher level enforcement is suffering as well. Many collectors put eyes on every return because they're doing manual entry, but they're not able to do proper audits on accounts because it's just time consuming. We just got to keep moving is what they told me. The end result is that there's just money being left on the table. All these little misses add up over the course of the year. I've heard estimates of tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars that's not getting collected. But many people that I spoke to had no idea how much revenue was actually being missed each year. The second challenge I heard was about inefficient tools. Most everyone I talked to was frustrated with their current process of typing information in their computer. And that manual entry coupled with tools that don't help automate the process just cause lots of frustration. Many people are stuck using tools that were not made for tax collection, or they lack the features that they need to operate efficiently, or they're stuck on tech that hasn't been updated since before the iPhone was invented. Reporting was a challenge. Matt just walked you through our reporting solution. If you saw that and you thought to yourself, boy, I wish I could do that, you're not alone. Reports in typical solutions are pre-canned and can't be edited or changed. Everything has to get sent out to Excel and pieced together to get what you want. The end result is that providing even that basic data to your decision makers is difficult, and trying to generate higher level strategic data, just completely forget about it. But all of this can be boiled down to the final challenge, which I think is the root of everything from the previous slides. Everybody's on old and outdated technology. Many tax collectors are not leveraging technology to solve these problems, and they're stuck using solutions that are inefficient, lacking key features, and while often are typically inexpensive, they actually cost your offices tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars each year. What is the actual cost of that old technology? Well, it costs you 1,000 hours in manual data entry, costs you all that money that's not getting collected because you don't have the time to do that proper enforcement. It costs you all those missed opportunities to provide higher level data for your executive staff so they can make more informed decisions. It costs your IT staff time and energy to manage and maintain old tech that's living in some server stuff in a closet somewhere. And it's costing your business owners who are struggling with the cost of compliance because of the lack of electronic filing and payments. So, how do we justify the cost of a solution like this? How do we generate an ROI on a project like this? First, it's all that additional value you get from automation. That time savings enables you to focus on enforcement, eliminates tedious processes, means you can go home on time more often, and those robust reporting tools allow you to make better strategic decisions. And there's a value to your business community as well. It lowers that cost of compliance by enabling online filing and gives them access to all those cool things that they can do right through their browser. But the real ROI is generated through that process automation because your time is valuable. And every minute that you spend taking numbers from a piece of paper and typing them in the computer is a minute that's not getting spent on revenue generating tasks. So, the question is, what would you do with more of your day? Could you run more audits or focus on data analysis or even research grant opportunities to bring in more revenue? If we put all this together in an example, if we could reduce that manual data entry by 70%, and we do that by the average hourly rate for a government employee, you can see that we can save almost $40,000 a year just on time savings. If we are mailing out notifications, that could cost upwards of $3 per filing. So we can eliminate that. And then people that I've talked to have indicated they can generate an additional 1 to 3% of revenue by focusing on audits and on enforcement. So when you add all that together, there's a tremendous opportunity for cost savings here, upwards of $150,000 in this example. So to recap, you want to streamline your tax collection with integrated tools to save time and generate more revenue for long-term returns. You want to leverage powerful data to make better strategic decisions. And ultimately, you want to find a vendor that is going to support your community and enable you guys to make life a little bit easier for your businesses. I think we stuck the landing. We got it just in time. How about it, Jess?
Okay, that was unreal. You guys I can see all the slides that Matt just got through in like 8 minutes. And Matt, unreal. Well done.
Well, hopefully everybody else feels that same way as well. So we had a lot to get through in an hour. I appreciate everybody sticking around and seeing through to the end here with us.
It's so much information to cover, and I really appreciate, getting into the demo was awesome, and getting to see things kind of working in real time. Matt E, I am expecting some coffee. I would like some Mr. E's coffee. That is
Yeah,
very
we roast it, brew it, and sell it, and pay tax on it.
fantastic. But the information that we got through today, I love that we hit on some of those high level strategies. I love that we got some action steps. I know that you guys actually have a case study in the handout as well. So for somebody that's kind of wanting to see this in action, that's a great follow up, is to spend some time with that case study. And you guys also have a really handy guide. And it's kind of laid out a little bit like an ebook, like you have nice chapters walking through, and actually breaks down, the online tax collection, and how that correct system can really improve compliance, increase revenue, and get, most importantly, and you guys hit on this a lot today, that single source of truth, really simplifying the information feeds. So 2 really great handouts, and that's an awesome way to make sure that you're following up on the information we got from the Mats. I do also want to say to both of you that we've got a lot of questions here that we're just not going to have the time to get into. Again, we just had so much information to get through, and anyone that still has a burning question, if you get those questions in, even if we won't have the time to answer today, we're going to make sure that this gets sent to the GovOS team. So you are going to get answers back from Matt and their crew. So please do keep those questions coming in. To you both, we'll have to have you back, because there is so much more to cover, and lots more to dig into. And this is just, I was curious to see how you guys were going to make taxes fun, and you did. So thank you for that.
Thank you so much, Jess, and everyone for joining as well.
All right. Well, hopefully we'll see you again soon. And for everyone else that's getting those questions in, keep that coming. Click on those handouts. Use that QR code. Make sure that you're finding those ways to connect and follow up, because we're just scratching the surface, and there is so much more to get into. So again, handouts, questions, QR code, that's your homework. And while you're doing all of that, I will reward you all with a $250 Amazon gift card that we are going to give to one lucky winner who is here live and present at the webinar. And that special somebody is Shanika Phillips from Alabama. I like it. Nice and warm. And now you've got $250 in your pocket, Shanika. Congratulations. We will follow up with you after we wrap up our webinar today. All right. Well, with that, on behalf of the Smart Brief team, I want to once again give a big and heartfelt thank you to GovOS for making this webinar possible, and very much especially to our incredible speakers, Matt and Matt. You have given us so much to think about today. And of course, a big high five always has to go to all of you out there in the audience for joining in this conversation, for asking some questions. These webinars are not possible without the participation from all of you. And I think that when we get to come together and really explore some of these ways that we can, we talk a lot about the technology, but what's at the core of that? We're talking about reducing stress, we're talking about reducing complexity, and we're talking about increasing opportunity and opening more doors and more time in your organization for your team. And that is a really exciting thing. So taking ourselves out of the, the specifics, and really looking at why are we having this conversation for those really important ROIs. And I think that we got to explore quite a few of those today. There was a lot covered. I hope that your brains are all buzzing and lit up. I know mine is. And I'm going to go mull that over while I have a cup of Mr. E's coffee. But thank you so much for joining us today. I can't wait to see you all at a webinar again soon. And until then, have an absolutely beautiful end to your day. Thanks all.